right now, so you'll get a little notification.
Okay.
What's everybody up to?
Oh, somebody's got a motorcycle going by.
I apologize. That's me in the heart of Saratoga
Hey,
Springs.
So you'll
A
get
little
a
bit of
little,
that
no,
I
going
love
by.
that.
no, no
What's everybody
explanation
up to?
necessary.
Motorcycles and guitars go together anyway, don't they?
They do, yeah.
Because Jeff Beck thinks so.
I wouldn't be writing one, I'm sorry. I'm too cautious. I'm too scared.
So, okay, let me see.
What do we got here, John? Do you want to tell us what we're doing today?
Okay, so I have a couple of things in mind that I thought we might do.
All right. I'm
Um,
busy putting things up on the website too.
yeah. So, as as we move forward, we're constantly just trying to figure out what the right way forward is. Um, and last time we learned a few things, and so today what we're gonna do is I'm gonna change it up just a little bit. I'm gonna start with a picking exercise that I like, and then going forward, I think we're gonna start with some kind of a picking exercise. Um,
Nice.
and then, today I want to talk a little bit about Mixolydian scales and some licks relative to Mixolydian.
Because we're
Okay.
all about Mixolydian
Yeah.
today.
Okay. So, um,
Oh,
okay. So let's start with the picking exercise. Now, when I'm working on my picking, there's lots of picking techniques that you can, that you can explore. A common one to work on is alternate picking, where you're just basically picking down, up, wherever you're going. Now, the hard part isn't getting your hand to move quickly.
wow.
That's the easy part, right? The harder
That
part
can be hard.
is doing that up and down and up motion, but also crossing strings in a manner that has any level of precision. And what was huge for me was realizing that if I'm doing a down alternate picking technique on one string, it's always just either up or down. Now, if I cross from this string doing a downstroke to this string doing an upstroke, as you can see, I'm crossing from the outer edge of the two strings. That's called outer picking. Now, another way to approach it is if I start here on this string with an upstroke and then have to cross to the next string below with a downstroke, that's called inner picking. Okay,
Cool.
so that's part of what the confusion is that the tactile feeling of going from here to here is a very different beast than going from here to here. Okay,
That makes
so
sense.
this is outer picking. Either if you start with a downstroke or start with an upstroke on the upper string. Okay, and if you're crossing from the outer edge of the two pairs, that's called outer picking. If you're crossing from the inner edge of the two pairs, that's inner picking, right? Regardless of whether you start with either the upper string or the lower string. That makes sense so far?
Yeah.
Okay, so this picking one. This is primarily uh, an outer picking exercise. Okay, so if you is it up on the chat yet?
I just did it, but let me do one more thing, and then I will be ready
Okay, and if you're watching us,
on
if you're
YouTube.
watching us up on YouTube, welcome.
Welcome.
If you're logging in to
Oh,
maybe Julie can put the link to the Zoom if you want to join us.
yeah, I'll
If you
do it right
if you
now.
join us, we'll put you'll be getting all the links to all the files from inside the from inside the Zoom chat. Okay.
Oh, is that what we're
So
gonna do?
yeah,
I can do that too.
yeah.
Let me see what I got here. Okay.
Okay. So that's the.
Okay, here we go.
Do you have picking one?
Oh, picking one. I don't
Maybe
know.
not. Okay.
I have 16th note pentatonic sequences. That's not it.
That's not it.
All right, just give me a minute here.
Okay. Hold on.
Picking one. Oh,
Here.
this is different. Oh,
Yeah.
okay, that's where I messed up. I will get that up there right now. But do you want this one up there too?
Not yet.
But do you want it on the page? Are we gonna
Probably on the page. Yeah, sure. Okay, so picking one. So essentially here what we're going to do is we're just going to play fragments of a scale. So for the first three measures, if you're looking at the sheet, it will start with fifth, 5, 6, 8, and then 5 on the first string. Now what's going to happen is there's only one note played on the first string, and every time you play that one note on the first string, you're going to play it as an upstroke. So down, and then up, and that's where you cross. That's where you cross the outer edge. Okay. Now rhythmically, these are eighth notes, so it's going to sound like this: 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1. Okay? Does everybody want to try it? Okay, so look, I'm going to try it at this time. I'm going to. When Julie and I do
it's up there now.
When Julie and I do the ukulele classes, what we do is when we have everybody play together, we mute everyone, and then everybody listens to us. Otherwise, it just becomes kind of chaos online. So that's the way we're going to. So I just want to try this at this tempo and see how everybody does. Okay.
Is that okay? Can everybody see that?
Yep.
Big enough? All right.
Yeah, no problems.
Okay, so
Sweet.
1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 2, 3, 2, 3, 4. Okay, good.
Oh.
So does everybody see how that works so far? Now, the next two measures, you're playing the same figure, but you're playing it as triplets. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's try just those two measures. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, now the next three measures, it's the same figure, but now you're playing them as 16th notes. So here, if you're playing it, if you're starting at the same tempo, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. Okay?
Cool.
And then finally, the last two measures, now you're playing 16th note triplets. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 2, 3, 4, 1. Okay?
Oh, I kept going. Sorry.
So let's try the whole thing. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. Triplets. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 16th. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Triplets. 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2.
Oh, repeat.
Yep. 2, 3 triplets and 16ths. 3, 2, 3, 4 triplets. Okay, how'd you do?
I saw everybody playing.
As is usual, I kind of screwed up between the 16ths and the 16th triplets because that's a little fast on 16 triplets for my capabilities. But yeah, very cool.
Okay, Dana, how about you? Were you able to keep up with those 16ths?
Same with me. I was able to hang in there until the 16th note triplets, and then I was.
So what's the fastest you can play the 16ths? Triplets.
Do people
16 triplets?
Yeah, because that's what that last part is. What's the fastest you'd be able to play that cleanly?
I don't know. You want me to just try it right now?
Yeah. Okay, hold on a second. Dustin, how about you? Is that a reasonable tempo for you?
Yeah, what is that? Like 70, 80 BPM?
Let me find it, and I'll tell you.
Maybe
in a
90?
second.
Okay.
Okay, so I have about 77 beats a minute.
Okay.
Okay. So what I might do is I might include the metronome this time. Jane, how about you? How'd you do with all that?
Okay, first of all, I don't usually use a pick. I'm used to using my fingers.
Okay.
So so it's a little bit foreign to me in that regard. But it's fun. I'm just,
Okay.
doing my best. But
You're not supposed to tell us you have an advantage by having 4 picks instead of 1.
Right.
Right.
That means you can play 4 times faster.
There you go. Put yourself on the hook.
yeah, but it's fun. I like the idea of it.
Okay. So let's try it again. So what I like to do is to put something like this up, and then just note that I'm playing it at a certain metronome setting, and then work at it until I get it smooth, and then when I'm feeling a little bit courageous, just tick the metronome up a few notches. And you'll be surprised at just the repetition of doing that without spending hours and hours and hours with it.
Yeah,
Okay.
you will improve.
Yeah. Okay, hold on. Okay, here we go. 1, 2, and 3, and 4, and 2, 3, triplets. 16ths. 2, 3, triplets. Okay, repeat, go. 1, 2, 3, 3, triplets. 16ths. 2, 3, triplets. Do it again. 2, 3, triplets. Triplets. 16ths.
I messed it up.
Sorry. Last time through. So last time through. 2, 3, beginning. 1, 2. Oh, hold on. Let's wait for the metronome to come around.
1.
2, 3, 4. Triplets. 60s. Okay, so part of what's great about that exercise also is just the idea of having to line yourself up with 8th notes, then 8th note triplets, then 16ths, then 16th note triplets, because it's really good for increasing precision around your sense of time. Okay, and also with picking. So start with always start with this with a downstroke until you get the outer picking kind of together. Then for an extra challenge down the road, start with an upstroke. Okay.
Sure.
Okay. Okay, any questions about any of that?
So, go ahead, Dana.
I was just going to ask, John, I happen to notice like that you were playing the notes very staccato. Was that, is there any importance to that, or?
No, I actually, the only reason why I was doing that is that was me being a teacher. You know, what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to make, I'm trying to show this is where I am. And by playing staccato, I'm trying to get my nose to kind of stick out more. That's it. So, I mean, staccato versus, holding them out. I mean, it really kind of depends on the phrase, right? So, it kind of really depends on what you're looking for.
Yeah.
Okay.
You'll have to
I guess my other question would be like, what if you can do like the fastest part for like maybe 2 beats, and then
Right.
you fall apart? Is that something? Do you ever practice it that way, where instead of trying to do 2 whole measures of 16-note triplets, maybe you can only accomplish like 2 beats? So you try to do that, and then you try to get 3 beats, and then a full measure. Is that enough approach? Or?
Yeah, maybe. I mean, I tend to hold the belief that all roads lead to Rome around things like that. What I do is if I'm working on something and I'm trying to push myself to be able to play it faster, is I practice it painfully slowly for long periods of time. But then one of the things I don't do necessarily, conventional wisdom says practice it really, really slowly, then very slowly, turn the metronome up like click by click by click. I don't do that. What I do is I'll practice it really, really slowly, and then I'll crank the metronome up to tempo and just try it. And 9 times out of 10, the first time I try it, I'm falling flat on my face.
You're very ambitious with the stuff like that, though.
Well,
he steps out more often than me.
Well,
that's probably why you can play so fast.
Well, the thing that I find is that by doing it that way, it kind of shows me right where I am. So if I'm trying it, if I crank the metronome, it's not because I'm thinking, I've got this. What I want to see is how far away am I from actually being able to do it.
Yeah,
then I'll go back. Then I'll go back and practice it slowly, because I have a theory around that, and the theory is a very simple one. I was in a fairly serious car accident, like in the mid '80s. I was just driving along and somebody T-boned me. I didn't see them coming. So my memory of the moment was I was driving along, and then all of a sudden life just went into slow motion. And I found myself floating inside the cabin of the car around all these shards of glass, because I wasn't wearing a seatbelt at the time. And then, so what ended up happening? I mean, I wasn't really terribly seriously hurt. I got a few bumps and bruises, but I was actually really lucky around that. But the clear memory I have was that time almost stopped in that moment. It's like this clear sensation of just like, just sort of floating inside the car while things are sort of crunching up around me, and me going, what the hell is happening, right? And then when the whole thing stopped, it was like, oh, somebody hit me. Like that's kind of, now when I'm performing, we all get nervous when we perform. I get nervous when I perform, and so it kind of so the chemicals that happen inside your body, you pump with adrenaline. I have a theory that it interferes with your sense of time. Okay, and that your sense of time actually slows down. So, which means that when you're performing, you're likely going to be in danger of playing things likely in danger of playing things too fast. So when I practice things really slowly, what I'm actually doing is I'm trying to get a clear picture of what's happening, which surprisingly enough, actually helps me be able to play things more quickly. So it's a long-winded answer, and I'm sorry about that, but it's a theory.
You're programming the coordination into the muscle memory, right?
Yes.
I like what you said, John, about pushing yourself, the tempo on the metronome,
Yeah.
because I've done the same thing. I always practice to a metronome, and I did the take it up by 3, take it up by 5 BPM, and didn't get anywhere. And when I started doing that exact technique, pushing it 10, 20 BPMs, whatever it is, but pushing harder and faster, I found that I gained a lot more speed, a lot more quickly.
Yeah, because I think a lot of it is being able to hear it at the new tempo.
Mm-hmm.
Like when you
Yeah.
play something that goes,
Yeah, if you're playing at a half speed, it doesn't sound anything to your brain like it does at full speed.
right,
And I struggle with that all the time, actually.
right,
Yeah.
right. So that's a part of it, is that like if you take, if I go up 10 ticks of the metronome, it's going to be noticeably faster. Okay,
Yeah, but
If
one, hardly anything.
but hardly, yeah, like 1 or 2 ticks, you're not even really going to notice it.
I think psychologically too, we have to believe it, because I find that if I
Yes.
jump too far up, then I'm like tense and trying to fight it. But then if I gradually move up, it
Yeah.
feels more natural.
Yeah,
Julie, you're onto something there, Julie, because for the longest time, and I'm talking years, my speed limit was like 130 BPM 16th notes, right? And when I started pushing on the metronome and I got up to like 150 16th notes, now they weren't clean by any stretch of the imagination. I still have work to do on, and I couldn't just go in cold and play that speed, but being able to achieve that, like psychologically broke a barrier for me.
nice.
Yeah, you're really onto something with that, Julie.
Yeah, our minds play tricks on us, and I
Mhm.
think that's the key of the time standing still.
Yeah,
Yeah. I used to be a distance runner, and a very famous story is that Roger Bannister is the first guy to run under a 4-minute mile, right? Nobody believed that they could do it, but there were a lot of guys that were very close to it. Once Bannister did it,
Everybody,
Like,
was
everybody
like, it
could
can
do
be
it.
done.
all the other guys did it within a week and a half. Like they were
Right.
all physically capable of it, but mentally, there was just that barrier that they had put in their minds around 4 minutes. And once someone did it, they all did it.
Wow,
Right.
isn't that amazing?
Yeah. And I'm sure whatever is behind that is behind exactly what we're discussing here.
yeah, that's right. That's exactly right.
Yeah. I was wondering too if like doing speed bursts sort of feeds into
sprint.
that too. It's like, on the guitar, speed bursts. Then you say, oh, well, I can do it for one measure. Oh, maybe I
Yeah.
can do it for
Right,
Yeah,
right.
yeah, that's what that's what David was saying.
My,
yeah.
Same thing as jogging with sprints.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I have a setting on my my metronome app. It's pretty cool. So let me see. Okay, there's a practice mode, and so you can do a warm up where your target tempo, and then what it does is it does the half speed. Let's see, 30 seconds, so 44. Like if I have it at 88. I was working on it.
Oh, okay.
I'm working on a piece that I'm playing this week, and it seemed pretty intimidating. But anyway, so it does half speed, 44 for 30 seconds, then 3/4 for a minute, and then it goes to 88 for 2 minutes. This is a warm up.
I like that. What app is that?
Yeah, this is called Pro Metronome. And then there's an automator where you can say how many bars you do it. And then it increases by 10 or 5 or whatever you decide. So if my goal is 105, then it after 28 bars it increases by 4 BPM. So the start tempo is 80, and then it says approximately 9 minutes taken to reach 105 BPM. So
I have that exact same app on my phone. I had no idea I could do that.
It's pretty cool.
Yep.
It's
I'm
pretty
going to have a lot.
crazy though. I mean, you can have it the screen flash when it's gonna be about to change, so you're not like taken off guard. But
Nice.
it's pretty cool. Yeah. Look
I
for
had no
practice
idea
mode.
we do that.
There's a little tiny thing right here.
Mhm.
Just press that.
The tap button. Okay.
No, it's in the middle of the tab.
Oh, the one in the middle. Got it.
Yeah. It's just a tiny little button that has a tiny.
No idea I could do that.
Not that.
Well, I paid. You might have to pay. But to me, it was worth it.
I was gonna say it seems very much
I
worth it.
got some goals.
Okay, so let's so send out the.
One thing, though, I'd like to say is April on YouTube says that when she's playing this, she does a down on the A string. It's probably that economy picking,
It might be.
because that's when you do down, up, down, down,
Yeah.
and then you go back.
Right. And the
Now,
thing
April,
about that.
when you go back down to the 8th fret, the G, on the 2nd string, now are you doing an up or do you do a down again? So let us know. All right. So do you want me to put it in the chat?
Sure.
All right.
So, John, John and Julie, just a quick question before you go into the next phase,
Yeah.
because I think it might be helpful to the other students here.
Sure.
And I don't mean to hijack this by any means, but have you guys used the conical rhythm system at all?
I have
Are you,
not.
are you familiar with that?
I
No.
never heard of it.
Okay. John McLaughlin has a DVD out about it, and I found this to be really helpful with me when it comes with picking and speed, stuff like that.
Oh, conical.
like most guitar players.
That's the Indian system.
Assigning syllabic content to the rhythmic groupings. Yeah.
Oh,
So
yeah.
where I found a lot of
Get that.
help with this is like I could not do fives, right?
Right.
But assigning syllabic content, Dadi Ginadum, somehow connects with your brain, and all of a sudden could play fives smoothly.
Yeah. Yep.
Amazing. I love that.
Yeah. And especially sevens, the odd time groupings. So, I mean, it plays into the psychological thing we're talking about, but also into the, what was throwing me off in the prior example was the rhythmic offset a little bit.
Yeah.
That it's not the same four notes. It's not, changing speed. It's not the same every beat.
No, that's right.
But what it did is psychologically, it helped you get that grouping together.
Yep.
And now that you can hear it, then all of a sudden you can transfer it to the.
As we're playing the 16 note triplets, I'm thinking in my brain, takata, 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 takata.
Yeah.
And it keeps me, on pace, on tempo. So,
Yeah, the version I do a much simpler version of conical. It's like, so to me,
You do your fun drum beats.
yeah. So two, yeah. So two is going to be taka, right, or tenga, depending.
Is that eights or 16?
So tenga. It's anything in groups of twos.
Yeah.
yeah, it's
Okay.
like ta, taka, takita, takadimi, takadimi.
Yeah.
Like that.
And then triplets are takata. So
Mhm.
so five is going to be tenga takata. Tenga takata, tenga takata, tenga takata, tenga takata.
Yeah,
So it's the same, it's different syllables, but the same idea.
The same idea, yeah.
Yeah.
What I love about it too is it means you can practice rhythm anywhere. So
Yeah.
you just sit there and you're like, and the people look at you weird on the subway, but
Yeah.
you got your rhythm together, so it's all.
Oh, whatever. They can think.
Yep. Yep. So
It's an even simpler form in my teaching.
mildly familiar. I'm sorry. What'd you say, Dana?
I was just going to say I teach a lot. I teach a lot of beginners, and I use an even simpler form. When I'm teaching triplets, I tell them think Africa. So Africa.
Ah,
And then
Very
when I'm teaching 16 notes, it's alligator.
Oh yeah, like you just assign a rhythmic
Africa,
grouping
alligator.
to a cool
Yeah.
like banana milkshake.
Something like that. Yeah.
16,
Yeah.
2 8.
So Jane is asking if this is the sort of like the notion of you can sing it, you can play it. That's exactly right. Yeah. So I mean, because the thing with rhythm is that you can't point to a quarter note on your guitar.
Right.
Like
It's
that's
the figment of our imagination.
yeah, it's a conceptual thing, right?
Yeah.
So if you can conceptualize a rhythm, then that puts you a big step forward in terms of being able to play it. Because then you have to take the concept, which you have a clear idea of in your head, and just find it on the instrument.
and the funny part is like once you get like 16th notes up to speed, going back and like just trying to play quarter notes in the pocket can be just as much a challenge.
Yeah.
That's for sure. Which is so interesting.
Yeah.
Sometimes you play really fast music and then you go to play some slow ballad and it doesn't feel right.
Yep.
I'm learning this crazy piece that I have to perform this Friday, and it is the craziest rhythm.
So, look,
hey.
April
Sheila.
Jackson coming in. Okay.
Sheila.
Frank Zappa's the black page, or are you going a little easier?
Well, it's easier. It's simpler than that, but it's
I shouldn't play it because then we'll get a tag on YouTube.
yeah.
But
well, we don't want to give away
I'll
the
put
name on the
of it.
gig either. But
It's Louis Andreessen.
So Julie's playing a concert with the Berkeley Wind Ensemble,
nice.
and it's like
It's
this
it's the Boston Conservatory, I think.
Boston Conservatory. Yeah.
Very cool.
But I just encourage you to listen to it and see what's going on there. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Now I finally have gotten my part, but now I have to play it with all the other people, and it's almost like a fugue. I think it is a fugue.
Oh,
So, and it's a bunch of brass. But anyway, it's funny that we're bringing up these interesting rhythmic things when I'm struggling with this crazy.
how many days of rehearsals did you get for that?
I haven't done any yet. I've just been working on it at home, but I get Wednesday and Thursday.
And
We play it
Friday.
Oh yeah, we have 2 rehearsals.
Yeah.
Friday.
So 3 rehearsals total.
4.
4. Like I said, 4 rehearsals.
I'm sure you'll kill it, Julie. No doubt about it.
Thank you. It's fun. I'm gonna
Alright.
play that green electric guitar right there. All right.
The
Should we play
I
something,
think she
John?
should. Yeah. Let's do that. Can you send over the backing track?
Yep.
I was gonna say the green Ibanez in the back is awesome.
Yeah.
It's John's.
that Green Ibanez is actually how I first found your music, John. It was the
Really?
video the video you did for Ibanez on that one.
Right. Yeah. That's
Never knew
that's
your
the
music.
target. Yeah.
Somehow came up on my YouTube, and I found. I think it was Always a Bridesmaid. Maybe that song.
Yeah.
I'm not
Always
sure.
right, mate. Yep.
Yeah, and I heard that song. And I was like, I need to listen to this guy's music. This is really good.
Wow. Cool.
I love
That's
that.
So
you,
yes,
Brian.
I give 2 thumbs up for the Green Ibanez guitar.
So, I'm sorry. What?
Can you send it to me?
Yes.
I only have the PDFs.
Okay.
I think that'd be a fun thing to play with the wind ensemble. Might as well stand out.
There you go.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Okay, John's sending me the backing track. This one's all about Mixolydian. We haven't talked about Mixolydian yet.
We have not.
Okay, I'm going to be putting it in the chat in just 1 minute. Here it is. Look at that. I love how you can send files now in the Zoom.
Yeah. Okay, so there's just a couple of things. When, like when I teach modes, I like to simultaneously talk about it from 3 different points of view. So one definition of a mode is a major scale starting from a different degree. So for example, a Mixolydian scale is a major scale starting from its 5th degree. So instead of singing do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do, you would sing sol, la, ti, do, re, mi, fa, sol, and then count the so you just basically go from so to so. Another definition of a mode is a major scale with notes altered. So that same Mixolydian scale, you could also think of it as a major scale, but with a lowered 7th degree. So if you start with a major scale, do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do, and then flat the 7th, do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, te, do, right? That gives you a Mixolydian scale. So it gives you 2 different ways to hear the same piece. Now, a third way to think of it is a Mixolydian scale is a major pentatonic scale with the 4th and flat 7th added. Okay, because pentatonic scale has 5 notes, mode has 7 degrees. So you start with the pentatonic scale, add 2 notes. So a pentatonic would be do, re, mi, sol, la, do, right? So for that you would add fa and te, the flat and 7th degree. Do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, te, do, right? So that kind of helps. Now, what makes that interesting is you realize that all the major modes, the characteristic notes are either 4 or 7, and the minor modes, characteristic notes are either 2 and 6, right? Which kind of makes all of that, I think, easier to sort of, conceptualize. Okay, so let's start with the track. So the chords in there's 2 sections in the track. So the first section, the chords are D5, then C, C5 add 2, then G5, then D5. Okay?
We got some rocking tones here.
Yeah. Then the second section is A, then there's a G chord with A in the bass, then a D chord with A in the bass, then A again. Okay?
Sounds like
so-
something familiar.
Oh yeah. So then we'll do that 3 times. Then yeah,
Does
then
that
the
sound
fourth
familiar?
time then the fourth time it'll go E minor to G. Okay? So here's the track.
1, 2,
Okay?
1,
So here's
2,
the D chord.
3.
And C5 add 2. G5. D5. Okay, now
That's nice.
before going further, those 3 chords, to me, the D chord is the one that sounds the strongest. Would you agree?
To me.
So if they're all major chords, D, C, and G would all come from the key of G, but D is the strongest. Okay? So therefore, I would call it D mixolydian, not G major, even though all the chords come from G major. Okay?
So this. Sorry, go ahead, John. Didn't mean to interrupt you.
Go ahead.
I was just going to say, so this is like what's always kind of tricked me up about the modes. Memorizing scales is one thing, conceptualizing them from the 3 vantage points that you mentioned is another thing.
Yes.
Harmony, right? So because what we're doing here is scales against harmony. If I'm looking at something that's in a G mixolydian, am I conceptualizing that harmony? Am I extrapolating it from the scale? Am I conceptualizing it as D harmony?
Well-
or how do you go about it?
Okay, so what I do is I listen to the tune and I start with what sounds like the strongest chord to me.
Mhm.
That's the first question I ask.
Okay.
Okay. Once I establish what that tone is, then the next question that I ask is what key do these chords come from?
Hmm.
Okay, and if all the chords are diatonic to the key of A and A is the strongest note, then it's the
The
key of A,
Ionian. Yeah.
right? But if I'm playing in the key of G, but D is the strongest note,
Hmm.
okay, then D is the 5th degree of G, therefore D mixolydian.
Okay.
Okay, so now take that. So once you establish that, then the next question to ask is D mixolydian is a major scale with a flat of 7th degree.
Mhm.
So you play a D major scale but flat to 7. Or you play a D major pentatonic and add the 4 and flat 7 to that.
Which means
Okay.
easier
Okay,
for us.
so that's the kind of stuff that we're going to go over today. All right.
Great.
So anyway, so that's the first section of the track. Okay. Then there's another section that chord progression repeats a few times. Okay, and then you're going to hear a big drum fill, and then go to A, to G, to D, A. Same thing. A, G, D, A. Third time. A, G, D, A. Then E minor to G. Then it goes back to the beginning. D. Now, during the A section where it goes A, G, D, A, now you're playing in A mixolydian. Okay?
Fancy.
Because A is the strongest note in that section, okay, and all the chords come from the key of D. Okay, A is the 5th degree of D, therefore A mixolydian. See how that works?
You're pretty smart.
I'm pretty smart.
Wicked smart.
Okay, so any questions about how that works so far? Okay, so let's take out the jam scales track PDF.
Okay, if you're on YouTube and you're watching this, we have a lot of resources that we're talking about today. So
How
go
do
to
I join?
julifin.com. Should I put it on? I'll put this in there. And all of the resources are under John and Julie's Guitar Club.
Yeah, can you put the link to the Zoom?
I did.
Okay.
The link to the Zoom is in the chat. Now this is cool. I'm gonna zoom in.
Did you put it on the YouTube?
I did.
Oh, okay. All
It's
right.
already on there. It was on there a long time ago. See.
Oh, okay. So way up at the top.
Yeah. But once our session is over, I'll put it in this
Okay.
section,
All right.
whatever that's called.
I just saw that I saw the couple of people were talking about wanting to join. I think
Yeah.
Mark Grab wanted to come in, and April Cox wanted to come in.
Well, they're just watching on YouTube. They
Okay.
prefer to do that.
Yeah, you should come in.
Come on, guys, get in the arena. Don't just
Yeah,
be
that's
watching.
right.
The
Yeah, put
water is
yourselves out
warm.
there. Okay,
Okay.
so
Let's do this.
okay, so the Mixolydian jam scale. So these scale fingerings, there's lots of ways to do it. So with these, what I did was I just put together little scale fragment fingerings that I think work pretty well for just finding a quick way to get the sound under your fingers so you could find some notes that sound good. Because what I do find is that if you get too caught up in the scales, right? If I'm improvising and I'm just using
One,
the scales,
two,
okay. If I start
one,
with D Mixolydian,
two,
right, it's gonna sound
three.
like this. Okay, it's like so. Why do I sound like I'm
Mark's
playing
here.
scales? Oh, look.
Mark's coming in.
Nice. So then the issue is, at this point it sounds like, why does it sound like I'm playing scales? Because I'm thinking about scales.
You're playing scales, yeah.
Right. So if I make the scale fingerings simpler, maybe you can kind of move past the scale playing part and move a little bit more into playing melodies.
Melody figures.
Okay.
I was going to ask John, does does internalizing the scales help you focus on the phrasing instead of on the?
Yes, absolutely.
You
Because
get the sound in your ear.
yeah,
Mhm.
when I'm improvising, I'm not thinking about scales at all. What I'm
You're
thinking
thinking
about,
phrasing.
yeah, I'm actually just thinking, what kind of story do I want to tell, right?
1, 2, 1, 2, 3.
Right? Like,
Yeah.
once I start kind of running with it, I'm just not thinking about scales anymore. But it's because I spend a lot of time trying to listen to the chord and try to find ways to sort of connect phrases that go with the chord. Hi, Mark.
Hi, Mark.
Great to see you.
I love when you end on a.
Yes, yeah, we can hear you great.
We can hear you. Thanks for jumping in.
Oh, it's awesome. I'm really psyched.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we're psyched you're here. Now, I put some things in our chat. I think I'll put them in again because I don't think you'll be able to get them. This is the backing track, and then we have a picking thing.
These are things we did earlier.
What else did we put
Okay.
in?
Oh,
Okay, yeah.
man. Well, I did try to join in on the first picking exercise. It was awesome.
Okay,
good,
right on.
good, good.
Okay. All right. So if you need anything else, just go to the website, and I'll put that in the chat.
Yeah, and if not, I'll bother you here.
Right.
Julie,
Find us.
Julie, if you could send the Mixolydian jam scales as well. I don't see those on the website.
Oh, right.
There, unless I'm missing them, I might be missing them, but
Yeah, if you go down, you scroll down to materials, there's Mixolydian jam scales, Mixolydian
Is it
jam
in there?
scales pentatonic.
Yeah,
Maybe
maybe
you
if-
refresh.
Oh,
Yeah.
just Mixolydian is what it's called, right? Or
It's
no,
Mix-
that's the licks.
If you Can you refresh your screen? I added them just a little bit ago.
Oh, okay. That's why I'm not seeing them. My apologies.
That's all right. Yeah.
Got it. They're there.
You see it? Okay, cool. Now you can
Yeah.
download them right there and print them.
Yep.
It'll open up in a separate window.
Mhm.
All right, cool.
Okay.
So we're all set.
So the basic idea with the Mixolydian jam scales. So for the D chord, we're going to use a D Mixolydian scale, but we're only going to use 1 octave. So we're going to go from here, 7th fret, 3rd string. Okay. So all it is a D major scale with a flattest 7th degree. Do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, te, do. Okay. Now, the cool part is that because all the chords are related to D Mixolydian, you can just simply use that scale over the entire thing. Okay, but I am going to offer so even though that's true, I'm going to offer some other, some other options. So for the second chord, the C5 add 2, you can either stay with the D Mixolydian scale, or you can move down to C Lydian. Okay, and then for the G, play G Ionian. Okay, then back to D Mixolydian for the D chord. So if so it's an easy way
2,
because I don't have to
1,
start on the root,
2,
right? So I can start in the
3.
middle. See how that works?
Are we doing the pentatonic ones? I just
No,
realized.
those are the
Okay,
Mixolydian
yeah,
jam
yeah.
scales.
All right, cool.
Okay, so does everybody see what I'm doing? Okay, so let's see, so can I put you on the spot and have you do it?
Okay.
So just using
Just play the
these
scales?
scales, yeah. Play these scales first, and then just use them as like, yeah. Because part of why I'm putting her on the spot is because she hasn't done these this way. She knows how to do this stuff, right? And she's a very capable improviser.
Okay, I see.
Yeah.
1, 2, 1,
They're all
2,
going around.
3.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
Because they're all right there in the same area.
So the usefulness in this is that it kind of takes you, once you start realizing that you could play a D major scale anywhere in the fretboard, then you can start to run into tyranny of choice. So things like this are just a good way to say, okay, so I'm going to play some opening phrases in this region of the fretboard that will give me these set of notes that'll get me started. Okay, once that starts to happen, then your intuition can kind of take over, and you can kind of explore the rest of the fretboard. I think that that's one of the things. These aren't directives; these are guidelines. Okay, so anybody want to try it? So what I would suggest, if you want to try it, what I'd like you to do is start by playing each of the scales with the chords, and then just using those seeds to improvise. If you want to try it, or want to try it next week or next time.
I'll jump in if nobody else will.
Okay. Yes.
All right.
Yeah.
We got our first volunteer.
All right, let's see if we can hear my guitar tone. And I apologize if it's too loud. Let me know if it's too loud or too quiet.
Okay.
Not too loud.
Yep, that's right.
Oh,
And then the second box is. Sorry.
yeah.
Yep.
I'm thinking through because I can see already how these all fit together. So I'm sorry, I wasn't looking at the box.
exactly.
Yeah.
There you go. So what you'll do is you'll play the track from your computer,
Okay.
and then you play along with that.
Yeah, start
Okay.
with start with the scales if you want, or actually, yeah, this looks like you know the scales, so you can just go ahead and just try using that as seeds to improvise on.
I will, and that's what I'm planning to do, but let me download the track because I haven't done that
Okay.
yet.
Alright.
And I can play it from my computer, but again, the audio might be a little on the.
What we can do is we can give you screen share privileges under security, and then you can share bring that file up on your computer.
Let me try. Let me try just doing it with my iTunes and with my plugin that is giving me my guitar tone. If that doesn't work, we'll do it.
Okay.
Do you want me to put the scales up on the screen?
Yeah.
Okay.
No, I'm good.
Everybody else see it?
Yeah, I'm gonna do speaker then.
Okay.
Mixolydian BT03 something.
With
something
Oh, yeah,
Mixolydian.
that's the backing track.
yeah.
Yep. You would think I would know how to use technology. You might be wrong.
It's
One,
all new though. Here we are live streaming.
1,
Can you hear that?
Yep.
2, 3.
You can hear it?
Yep.
Count off and all that?
Yep.
Okay. How far into this do you want me to go?
Start at the beginning.
It's gonna change key.
No, I'm saying start at the beginning, but
Yeah, start right at the beginning.
we're just dealing with the first section of the song.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So once the drum fill starts, I'll stop.
Yeah.
Sweet.
All right. Let's see if this works. Flag me down if it doesn't.
Okay.
1, 2, 1, 2, 3.
Yeah, right
Yeah,
on.
That kind of-
Yeah.
You're getting it down.
Thanks, guys.
Yeah.
What was that?
Awesome. Okay. Awesome. Anybody
I don't
else?
know. Could you hear my guitar against the backing track? I didn't really have a chance to
It
balance
sounded
it. so.
great. Yeah, it was
Yeah.
good.
Yeah. It wasn't bad at all. I could hear everything.
I had a couple of bum notes there, but what I was picking up on and why I was comfortable doing this is when you're showing us those boxes. I know that they all fit together in that scale, in a general scale pattern, and I find that very freeing because I'm not really thinking so much about the chord
Right.
and what scale box works over it. I know those are the notes that I can play, and I'm using my ears. I'm thinking
Perfect.
about okay, how close is this to
You know,
leading me to the chord where we're going? Yeah.
a big part of this is realizing that you can fragment the scale to only deal with the area that you're actually playing from. You see, so because a lot of scale methods seem to insist on perhaps not deliberately, but they seem to insist that you start on the sixth string.
Right.
So when you learn it, it starts making you think, well, when I start my solo using D Mixolydian, I have to start.
I am so guilty of this, John. So guilty of that. Yeah.
Yeah, me too.
And
Me
what
too.
and what you said earlier too about the tyranny of choice or the tyranny of too much information. I love this, the idea of breaking it down into manageable boxes, because it just like overwhelms you when you think you need to see the entire like scale all over the fretboard in order to function
Right. So
in an improvisation. Yeah.
So when I'm driving around in Boston, if I'm sitting at the corner
You're
of
taking your
Mass
life
Ave,
in
yeah.
your hands.
Well, besides taking your life in
Just
your hands,
kidding.
if I'm sitting at the corner of Mass Ave and Boylston, like I kind of have a picture of what the immediate neighborhood might look like. Okay,
But you don't have the map of the city in your head.
I don't have the map of the entire city, just the local neighborhood. Now, when I get over to Government Center, I no longer have the Mass Ave and Boylston in my head. I've got the area over by Government Center.
That's a great analogy.
It's so you only so you only extract the information that you need for the moment and put the rest of it aside. So that's kind of what this is about.
Right.
Now, that makes a lot of sense, John. That's
Yeah.
great.
Cool. Dana, you want to give it a try?
Yeah, sure. Why not?
All right, cool.
Yeah. This
It's
makes
about-
it so much better.
Yeah.
Get in the arena, guys.
Courageous.
So, all right. So just to clarify, we're playing D mixolydian followed by C mixolydian followed by G mixolydian.
No, we're playing D Mixolydian,
Yeah.
followed by. Now you could do this a couple of different ways. You could just stay in that D Mixolydian box.
Oh, C
Stay there.
Lydian. Sorry.
Yeah, C Lydian, right? Then G Ionian, and you'll see, and what Dustin was sort of realizing is as you're connecting them, they're really just different fragments of essentially the same piece of information.
Because it's all G major.
Yeah, it all just comes from the key of G major, but D is the note that everything centers around.
But then you can play the chord. You play the sound that happens over the chord.
See, check this out, right? See, here's D Mixolydian. Here's C Lydian. Okay?
I'll play the
So-
chords with it.
Yeah.
Right.
If
Got
it's
it.
if it's helpful, Dana, when I was playing through it, my thought process was as damn simple as putting those three fingerings together. Those are my boundaries. That's my box, and just
Yeah.
You
Listen,
kind of work your
yeah.
way through the shapes, and then by the second time through, you kind of get a feel
Yeah.
of what's happening.
All right. Okay. Can you hear my guitar?
That's, yeah.
You need these scales up on the screen?
Sure. That'd be good.
We'll keep them.
All right. And here's the backing track. Hopefully you can hear it.
Yep, we can.
Okay. There goes nothing.
1, 2, 3.
Yeah.
Yeah. See, now what?
That's totally it.
Yeah. Now, see, what I was sort of liking that what you were doing is you were starting to kind of free associate a little bit with it.
Mhm.
And be expressive in your own
And
way.
yeah, exactly. And along the way, your ears will always kind of tell you if you're playing notes that you like and notes that you don't like.
Right.
So that's one of the things that I've sort of learned is that it doesn't matter if you're actually playing all the right notes all the time. What matters is whether you're really playing what you really want to play, and not just where your fingers are landing.
Yeah. Aimlessly.
That has been a problem of mine for kind of forever.
Mine too.
Yeah.
And Dana, by the way, great on using that repeated phrase toward the end there. Great piece of vocabulary.
Yeah.
Thanks. Yeah. No, my biggest problem is I have terrible stage fright. So it's,
Really?
We all.
yeah, so it's like as soon as I try to play, it's almost like my fingers start to let me down. That's my
You know
biggest
what?
problem.
That's what happens. I'm the same. But the more you do it, it's sort of like shedding that away each time,
Yeah.
you know.
So
But I feel major anxiety. It's
yeah,
gotten a lot better.
yeah, I do too. So what happens to me is like inside my head, it's a very loud, chaotic place to be. And so when I start to play, there's a guy that pops up over my shoulder over here, and he waits until I hit the downbeat. And as soon as I hit the downbeat, they go, "You suck.
It's horrible.
You can't play. You didn't practice enough, right?
It's clearly you can't play, John.
Right.
That's my drummer saying it to me before every song.
Right.
Whoops.
So now
Somebody needs to be fired.
worse yet. Okay, well, yeah, I'll tell you another story about that in a second. And then I've got another guy on the other side, another voice on the other side, who basically says, "You're the best. You're the best guitar player who's ever lived. Everybody idolizes you. Like you always play things perfectly." Now, neither of those is true. Okay, and what's interesting is that they do the inside of my head. They do those things because they think they're helping, and they're not. My job when I'm performing is to kind of push all that aside and then just focus on making the music.
But you know what is a key?
Yeah.
This is what helped me. I went through a crazy time when my father passed away, and I just had floods of anxiety. And I don't know if it was just the trauma or the grief or whatever, but it just seeped into every little facet of my playing for some reason. So I
Because
looked
it's what you were
around.
feeling.
Yeah,
Yeah.
negativity, and so self-doubt. And then I searched around for affirmations for musicians that would really help me in my practice, because I was having that same thing. I had this person on my shoulder whenever I'd pick up my guitar, even by myself, that was like, "You're horrible, you suck, how can you ever amount to anything?"
Right.
And so my practice sessions were filled with all these negative emotions. And then when I'd go to play, it was almost like all those feelings were reinforced and then magnified when I'd play. And it was just horrible. And I'm like, my life is playing music. How can I live with this horrible feeling all the time? So I couldn't find any affirmations that already existed. So I made my own. And they're basically like, John and I worked on them together. We have a whole album of 10
She did all the work.
affirmations for musicians. It's just a 5-minute thing to center yourself, to get yourself in a good place before you even play a note. And then once you're playing the notes, if you notice, okay, I'm starting to get the yucky feeling again, then you can put it on again. But it's just a really quick thing. You just start out in the right mind frame. And then once you've done it a while, then you start to notice when these feelings creep in, and you can say, "No, those are lies,"
Yeah.
So, but performing is one of the greatest joys of being a guitar player, in my opinion. And not just, I like playing solo, that's fun. I've been recently doing songwriter rounds, which have been very satisfying, but my greatest joy is to play with John and our band, So now, I mean, I'm going to be 50 years old, and I just don't want to waste any moment of playing with other people with negative thoughts. So if you feel any self-doubt, there's ways to just let that go. The main thing is to just be in a place of peace when you're practicing, and then, dispel.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. So Mark, you mentioned your drummer. Years ago, like fairly early in my career with the Boston Pops, I was we had this piece that we were playing that had kind of a big guitar solo in the middle of it, and it was really the first time that I'd played with them where, I had some musical heavy lifting to do, and and the drummer who was sitting next to me knew that this was kind of a big moment for me, and that it was my first big moment, and that the rest of my career would be like with them would be sort of defined by how I did in this moment, right? So I'm sitting there and I could feel my palms sweating up, and I'm like, like getting more and more scared and more and more scared. And right as I'm picking up my instrument and getting ready to make my big entrance, the drummer who's sitting right next to me, like right around like this, he kind of comes over to me. He goes, "Don't screw it up," and then goes.
Except he said a different word, right?
Right. Yeah, he didn't use that word. But, like, I mean, boy, talk about something that would just kind of just snap me out of it,
It took you out of your own head, which is all stage fright is, being in your own head, right?
Yeah.
You just have to laugh.
He was 100% right.
Yep.
And by the way, I gave him a noogie afterwards.
It's so funny.
Because that's what you do.
I love
But,
that so much.
So yeah, I mean, that whole thing, I mean, I think in terms of performing, that if you're judging what you're doing while you're doing, you're actually taking brain power away from the process of playing.
Yep.
So your job when you're performing is to only think about the song and not how well you're playing or how badly you're playing or whether anybody likes it. That's up to them. Your job is to just kind of show up and play.
Right.
And then just be okay with it. And what's interesting is if you can distance yourself like that, the whole process becomes a more enjoyable.
But you're not alone in feeling the stage fright.
Yeah. Oh, definitely not.
You're not.
Oh yeah, I'm on stage all the time. I got stage fright all the time.
Yeah.
Well, you're in good company then. I mean, we all do the stage fright because we all care about what we're doing. And we all kind of forget that if we make a mistake, nobody but us is going to notice more often than not.
Yeah.
And they're not going to judge us. But Mark, in terms of being in company with stage fright, I remember reading, there was like an interview in the mid 90s with Eddie Van Halen, and he confessed that he had massive stage fright even at that time in his life. Dude conquered the world a decade before, and like even he got stage fright. So
You know who else?
Which in good company.
Chris Cornell.
Really?
Yeah, I remember reading that. Yeah. And can you believe it? That guy has stage fright. You would never think it to watch him play.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But then once you get out there, I've just been working on trying to let that go because I really want to enjoy it. I really want to. We owe it to ourselves to take those moments and really live them.
And when you enjoy it, even if you hit a wrong note, audience isn't going to care that you hit a wrong note, but if they see you enjoying it, they're going to enjoy it.
Yeah,
Well,
that's
just
right.
think about our occupational hazards. When we align ours as rock guitar players with brain surgeons, like, okay, if we get a wrong note,
Yeah.
it's an
Yeah, okay.
Yeah,
If
but if you're
somebody nicks an artery,
Yeah.
Little more devastating.
Yeah, the brain surgeon can't hit a wrong note and just bend it up a half step. You know what I
Right,
mean?
that doesn't work.
We can't do that.
Not game over if you hit a wrong note.
Yeah.
Yeah. But thank you so much for sharing, everyone. What a wonderful time.
Yeah. So, the last thing we're gonna wrap up in a second, but
We do want to share those pentatonic things, right?
yeah. So
Just so you know, let me just put this one more
Is
time.
this the
Did
sheet with the
everybody-
licks, John?
yeah, not yet.
Oh, the licks. We
Yeah.
didn't even get to the licks yet.
Okay, so let's the pentatonic, the pentatonic versions. This is a method that I use to simplify, mixing pentatonics and modes. Okay, so and you'll see that there's a lot of similarities. So instead of using the one octave for D mixolydian, what we're going to do instead over the D chord, you're going to play a D major pentatonic. And then when you get to the top two strings, you're going to add the notes from the mode. Okay? Now, what's cool about that is that I can think of it as, I can pretend I'm playing in B minor. Right? And it's so simple. Right? So you play B minor pentatonic, but you add the notes G and C at the 8th fret and only on the top two strings. Okay? And then for the C add 2, it's the same thing because now you're playing C Lydian. And then for G Ionian, same thing, 12th fret. And then back to D Mixolydian. Now, what's also cool is that you don't have to move with the chords. You can use all of those positions at any point depending upon what notes you want to use. You can plant your hand at the 7th position and just use that first fingering through the whole thing and it'll work. Okay? Or you can move with the chord if you want to. Or you can move contrary, like you can use G Ionian over the D Mixolydian. You can use C Lydian over the D Mixolydian. You can combine them in a lot of different ways. And there's a bunch of other ways you can do it.
This is great, John. This is great.
Yeah, cool. So,
It is.
that makes sense how that works?
Yeah, do you want to try it?
You want to try it?
Oh, me?
Yeah.
All right.
Let's have Julie try it.
Oh, boy.
Your turn.
1, 2,
That's what's the wrong one.
My guitar's close.
1, 2, 1, 2, 3.
Oh, 4 frets.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's
Nice.
fun.
Thank you.
Yeah.
It's cool.
Okay, so I was thinking, I think it might be, what I would like to do is maybe next time, if everybody's coming next time, you could do a couple of things. You could record yourself improvising over the track and then share that with the class next time, or practice it and play it live next time. Either way,
Oh, that's a good idea.
okay?
Can
So
we pick a day real quick?
yeah,
It'll be May. Oh my gosh, May. May 23rd?
let me check.
The 30th is a
That's
Memorial Day.
Yeah,
Is
crazy.
Monday night's okay? What do you guys
Works fine for me.
You guys are doing good on Mondays?
Yeah, the 23rd.
This is a
sounds
good.
23rd works for me. Yep.
Yep, good for me.
All right.
May 23rd. Okay, so can I just kind of run through those licks that we...
Yeah, let's
Put
look at the
together.
licks. John has.
Please do, John.
Okay.
This is the highlight for me. John's licks.
So part of where this comes from is, just think about, like, listen to the chord progression and then just sort of build what you would consider to be the best licks you could think of for the section, and then practice doing those. And that's a really good way to build your own vocabulary. So these are some of the ones that I came up with. These are from my course, 30 melodic modal licks for guitar. Now, full disclosure, the number 12, the percolate one, I was trying to play it before we got here, and I was really having a lot of trouble with it. So
Maybe
That one was slightly on the scary side, John.
yeah.
maybe you should play it real slow,
Whoa.
just
Okay.
so that we have it on the
All right.
Zoom.
Okay, so anyway, so the first one, I'm going to play it without the track first. So 3, 4.
Wow.
Okay,
That's
so
cool.
what makes that work is kind of the like how the leaps kind of go against what the timing is. The whole thing is straight 16th notes. So one, one. Okay, and
I'm
then
gonna play
with
the
the
chord.
track. Let me see. Where's the track? There it is.
You're playing with the track.
1, 2,
You're starting with
1,
Yeah,
Percolate?
this is
2,
the first one.
3.
Oh, hippity hop.
Okay,
Nice.
so that's the first one.
So, John, can I
yep.
just jump in real quick with a question?
Yep.
Awesome lick, and I love the rhythmic patterns going on there, but it's not really natural phrasing. So, when you're writing a lick like that, is there like a seed that you generate it from? Are you going through note by note to put it together? Does it flow? Like, how does a lick like that come into being?
So kind of what. Well, okay. So kind of what I'm doing is I'm just trying to find. Well, it doesn't sound natural, but it's the kind of thing I've practiced a lot. Is just getting weird rhythmic groupings. Things like that. And so then like once an idea like that comes in my head, then I'll try to like find that rhythm and then build the lick around the rhythm.
Gotcha.
So
Got it. That makes sense.
so right. So I'm thinking.
You're hearing the melody within the lick.
Yes.
Got
Okay.
it. Okay.
So now this second one is much harder, and it's actually a quote from my song "Always a Bridesmaid." Right. So. Okay, so let me see if I can actually play
1, 2, 1, 2, 3.
Okay.
Wow.
Yeah. So
Right.
if that makes sense.
Sorry, I was playing on that with.
Yeah. Then the third one, bendy 3. So it's called bendy 3 because it starts and finishes on the third of the chord. Can you scroll that maybe?
I'm sorry.
So this is example 13.
It's nice.
So let me see if I can get it.
1, 2, 1, 2, 3.
1. Hold on. Sorry, should have practiced this
Two.
before I came in.
1, 2, 3.
So, the basic idea is just starting and ending on the third of the chord, and then just kind of playing notes that kind of lead you back to the third. Okay? So then there's 3 more licks, I think, and those are over the second section. Okay, so let's 2 more. Yeah, 3 more licks.
Do you want to start with searching for clues?
You know what? Let's do those next time, because I'd have to practice them. I don't
Okay.
want to. I don't want to
Practice them here.
Yeah, I don't want to practice them here in front of you guys. Or maybe it's I don't know.
Maybe we'll go do Mixolydian Part 2.
Yeah, let's do Mixolydian Part 2 next time. So what happens with this track
1,
is it'll do
Two.
D Mixolydian for a little while. Okay, then it's going to go to the A Mixolydian. You'll hear a big drum fill when it changes. I think it's right here. So now it's A Mixolydian. Now back to D. A Mixolydian. Okay, so that's generally the idea. Okay, so the track itself just sort of encourages that practicing doing those key changes. Okay, the support materials I gave just give you a few different ways to get from D Mixolydian to A Mixolydian, and then the licks are just sort of my versions of some vocabulary. So I sort of deliberately wrote them to be kind of challenging to play. Otherwise, it's good to push yourself sometimes. I would also strongly recommend writing your own licks over chord progression like this. The chord progression was kind of written to be sort of like generalized rock A Mixolydian and rock D Mixolydian. It's the kind of things you hear them all the time. All right, so any questions?
No questions for me. Just thanks for your time as always, guys.
Oh,
I love that you're still doing this, and thank you so much.
Oh, you're welcome. Okay, so one little thing too. So one of the things we're going to start doing is we are actually going to start asking for donations. It's
Absolutely.
voluntary. So you want to put the
Oh yeah, do you want to do the PayPal?
yeah. So put your either
John.
Yeah.
Oh wait. We'd never want you to not come.
Yeah, definitely. Come
Yeah,
either way.
it's the least we can do.
It's not that, you know what
In my
I mean?
case, it's the least I can do, guys, for the amount of information you're giving out on this.
Do you want to do that?
Yeah, and yours.
Oh, Venmo.
Yeah.
If Venmo's
Where did
better.
where did it go?
It's in the chat box.
I hit the chat box. I see. Don't see it. It's weird.
Let's see. It should say. It should say. The chat should give you.
Oh, there it is now. It probably just was slow. Oh.
Yeah.
Suddenly.
So you're at Julie Finn 3, right?
No, I think just Julie Finn, but I just want to make sure. At Julie Finn.
Okay.
Thank
So
you, John.
I
forgot.
$10 is good. To either, is totally fine. What we're hoping for, the goal is to try to get just as many people interested as we can. So you guys are the early adopters, so I thank you for that.
Yeah. We
Well,
love how you're participating,
Yeah.
how you're stretching and being courageous. I know it can be a little
Yeah.
intimidating.
So for next time, think about putting together either a recording or a video of yourself improvising over the track, maybe using some of these things. Write your own licks if you want to. Share them with everybody else. I mean, I think that's really how this works best. Is like we sort of set the rudder in the water, and then then we're all sort of exchanging ideas.
We want to see you take these and make them your own.
Yeah.
Because that's the ultimate.
And now that we've got Mark here, that's it's going to be.
I
much
can't wait
better
to
now.
hear Mark play.
Yeah, Mark is a legend. If you
I
don't
know.
know.
I've seen your Facebook Live.
Yeah.
Well, when you see a 70s Strat of that color, you're in trouble.
Well,
There's going to be some speed in the
Look
in
at
the house.
that.
I use the Les Paul as my number one for my gigs. I got this for my wedding present. It's an Angve Strat because I always at the 80s, I want an Angve Strat. I want a scalloped neck.
That's
Right.
all
Beautiful.
Sure.
right.
I did have to do hot rodding because it slips off the high E slips off a little.
Right.
Oh wow! How do you
But
do that?
I remodified it with a couple things, and awesome.
I have a Blackmore. I love the scallop neck. I wanted to do it to every one of my guitars as soon as I bought that one.
Wow.
Yep.
It is the best teaching tool. I'm telling you, I learned more on the
100%.
scallop neck, more of my grip and fingering, and it really feels more intense for learning
Really?
purposes. Yes,
Wow.
I recommend it. I totally. The only thing I hate is 21 frets. I can't stand 21 frets.
Yeah.
Yes, man after my own
I
heart.
want a high D.
Right. Yeah, me too. I'm a 24 fret. I'm a
One
20,
more fret. Come on.
I'm a 22 fret guy.
I totally
One
mess
word,
up.
warmeth.
And like the last session I
Warm
watched, I'm like you guys. I'm scale. My solos are like scale playing. They're not, what would be the word to say? Good phrasing? No. Yeah, it's always scale solos. I'm
Right.
so in depth to that. I'm trying to break that mold.
Right. So
Well,
maybe
you
the
know
thing,
them really well by now.
Yeah. So maybe the thing to do might be try using these scales with the idea to simplify the process of using the scales, and to kind of allow more bandwidth to think about what the phrasing might be like. And the other thing is try some of those licks and see if any of them make any sense. And another thing, and I think probably the most important part, would be to write your own licks against the chord progression. Like write your own solo and see what you come up with. All right? Cool. Questions? Comments?
The only comment I'll throw in here, Mark, to your last point about the solo sounding like scales, I think Steve Morse said something once about like music being like speech. So you don't talk the same volume and you pause in between phrases, and like just putting a breath in the phrase is what helped me kind of not sound that way.
Yeah,
So,
that's
yeah,
great.
great advice.
So I think about
Thanks.
William Shatner this thing and just try to
That's
pause and
right.
take
Yeah,
There's
pause.
something
moments. You know?
on the way.
Actually, that reminded me of an old. This is an old John Finn story.
Uh-oh.
Oh, now I'm glad I spoke up.
This is an So I was in class with John one time. And we were talking about phrasing, and he said the best way you can practice phrasing is you play a few notes on your guitar, and then you say to yourself, I am just the greatest guitar player in the world. And then you play some more, play a few more notes, and then you pause and you say, I am just the greatest guitar player in the world.
Pause to admire your
You
work.
get those nice pauses in your soloing.
It's
That gotta be so emotional too.
it's as crazy as it sounds. It does work. You
You never told me that.
Well, it's because because you've become the most greatest guitar player in the world.
Okay.
So
This
as
is
I mentioned,
special
I stopped being the
information.
greatest. So now I'm the second. So now it's even longer. Now I
Always
say
be
I'm
the
the second
greatest.
greatest guitar player in the world.
You're the greatest. Okay.
Well
I'll say that.
spoken, John. Well spoken.
Thank
I'm
you.
the second. I'll say that.
All right. So
That's cute.
I do remember that. That was kind of a fun, that was kind of a fun thing. But yeah, I mean, the whole idea is to just kind of, like put a musical phrase out there and then give your audience a moment to kind of take it in. That's really what that's about.
That's true.
And then offer your next idea, and then offer your next idea. The problem is now you have to like carry some weight with everything you play.
You have to think in ideas instead of just go.
Yeah, but we'll we'll explore that more. And in particular, I really want to hear you guys play too.
Yeah, that's
More.
a joy for us.
All right.
Yeah.
So,
Thanks, guys. We'll see you on May 23rd.
Yeah.
I think it is. And
Looking forward to it, guys.
Playing Happy Mixolydianing.
Yes.
Thanks again for the time, as always.
Okay, no problem. Thank you.